So this is the next part video where we have added remaining drives. So it's 7 drives in a RAID 5 setup. So now we're gonna test, is there a better speed compared to 4 drives? And obviously there should be better speed. But to take it a little bit further, we'll also combine in this video tests about the cables. So we're gonna be testing cable Cat5, Cat6, Cat7 and SFP. So you can see, is there a difference in the speed when you're using one cable or another? Obviously, those cables are different in different ways. Cat5 is not shielded, it's just wires, not protected, not shielded. Then comes Cat6 and Cat7, where they are either shielding pairs of the cables or every single cable individually. So let's get into those tests and see what's going on, what the speed differences are. This is a recording which I made earlier, and we were testing Cat5e cable first, and we will be uploading a 19 gigabytes file, mixture of videos and small files and big files. We're gonna see how fast they can upload to the UNAS Pro. And the speeds we were getting through this Cat5 cable is pretty significant. It's 500 megabytes a second. Obviously drops below 300 when it's trying to transfer smaller files, but big files, they are very fast. So Cat5 is not too bad if you are doing connections that are not too long distance. So I would say up to 5 to 10 meters. And then we're also going to do a test for the download. So in one case we are writing to the disks, and in other test we are reading from the disks. Now we are going to try and download this 19 gigabyte file, and as you can see, reading goes even up to 600 megabytes a second. And it's pretty stable, 500 megabytes a second actually. With a writing operation we could see dipping in some cases for down to 300 megabytes, but obviously download is going to be quicker. Then we're also going to use a tool called NAS Performance Tester and see what speeds we will achieve. So sending a 1.5 gig file, and the speed we are getting is around 700, 600 megabytes a second. I assume these files are bigger in size. For that reason we are getting better speeds than just a normal copy paste that we tested earlier. But the speeds are good. When we were writing from the disk, actually it was slightly lower to 580, 570 megabytes a second. It's not too bad. The average 562. When I did the Blackmagic tests, actually the speeds were much slower because of the file sizes. It's more like a kind of caching type of test with very small files. So obviously, for some reason, write was extremely slow compared to read. On a read test, I was getting something like 300 megabytes a second, 315. It's a big difference. If you're curious about the files I'm using, these are basic MP4 MOV video files with different sizes. With Cat6 cable, the speeds were not that much different actually. Maybe slightly faster. We could also see around 500 megs a second, 600 megs a second. So for the short distance, there isn't that much of a difference what kind of cable you use. When testing write speeds, which is uploading, we could see that speed being around 400 megs a second. When doing the first test, we could see actually it was 10 megabytes a second faster using a shielded cable. And there is a massive improvement with a reading performance. Regarding Blackmagic tests, there was no big difference in write tests. The same can be said about read performance as well, very similar. So Cat7 cable, which is shielded, every wire individually, we would expect the best speed from that cable. But again, with that short distance, you can see the performance is around 550 megs a second. When we do the upload test for the same folder with Cat7 cable, we can see the performance around 400, 450 megs. And doing write tests, we were seeing somewhere around 653 megs a sec. During reading tests, very similar performance around 661 megs. Blackmagic tests, again, there's no big difference, still 60 megs a second. Read tests also similar, 300 megs. So using SFP plus cable, direct connection from NAS to computer, the upload speeds or write speeds were around 400 megabytes a second, and the download speeds were around 350, 450 megs a second. And the NAS performance tester, it was showing write speeds or upload speeds around 500, 600 megabytes a second. The average was 605. The read speeds are very similar, 500, 600 megabytes a second. The average read or download speed 620 megs at the end. So yeah, definitely adding more drives to the RAID will increase the performance. And regarding the cables, if you use SFP or RJ45 based Cat cable, either Cat 5, 6 or 7, in short distance there will be not that much of a difference. But if you run them further than 100 meters, then you might most likely see the difference. Otherwise, I actually have replaced those drives with SSDs now, and I'm going to do a further test, seeing is there a bottleneck regarding CPU or not. What's the difference between hard drive RAID and SSD RAID? You'll need to check the next video. I'll show you that on the part 4.